So good morning everyone. Now we are going to discuss about the RDBMS basics concepts. RDBMS expansion is Relational Database Management System. So module 1, it contains foundations of DBMS concepts, introductions. So before we are going for RDBMS concepts, we must familiar about what is data and what is information. So first, what is data? Data is a collection of raw facts, and also we can say like raw and unorganized fact that requires to be processed to make it in a meaningful manner. For example, ram 1898.8. So what are all the meaning of that ram? So 18 and 98.8. So these are all called the unorganized facts, or we can also say like raw facts. So we have to make it in a meaningful manner. That's what called as information. So this is the information support, which means a set of data which is to be processed in a meaningful manner. For example, so the name is Ram and age is 18 and the percentage of Ram is 98.8. So this is what called as information, something we have processed in a meaningful manner. File system. Why we are going for this RDBMS concepts? Because we have already having some file system concepts, right? So what is file system? So we already used in olden days. We can also say like manual system. So use paper for record the documents, difficult to extract the information in a short span of a time. For example, so nowadays we have completed your attendance by using the CMS apps, right? But now we have but older days we have a logbook, so we have to enter all your attendance in a manual format, so that it's very difficult because we have to maintain all the pages, etc. So this is very difficult. So only the file system concepts can be evaluated as a DBMS. Difficult to store for longer duration, or we can also like losses of content, and the content may be fading. So these are all some difficulties. So later only the file management system, better to known as file system, which means organizing the file, so that we can able to extract the informations, which is very easier than the manual processing system. And we can also say like permanent storage, which contains no fading of data, so our data will be in a secured process or secured manner. So that's why we are going for DBMS concept instead of file systems. So what is file system? A collection of application programs that perform services for the end users, such as production of reports. Each program defines and manages its own data, which means it's all the collection of applications programs that to be maintained or called as file system. For example, conventional operating systems or Windows NTFS, and file always stores permanent record and within a different file formats like images, audio, video, etc. So these are all the various file formats. So document, images, and PDF content, zip files. So these are all the various number of file formats we can able to store it as a file. File-based approach. So early attempt, we have to computerize the manual filing system that we are all in familiar with, right? For example, for an organization might have the physical files which contains a external and internal correspondence. So that we have to use safety cabinets and locked rooms, and we have to ensure all the our data will be in secured places. So for example, home file system that contains receipts, warranties, invoices, bank statements, etc. So what is the problem behind this? So the manual file system works well as long as the number of items to be stored is small. Imagine if you are having the plenty of data and file, so how we are going to all accommodate all the data in that single file? So it even works adequately when there is a large number of items and we have to store and retrieve them. Not only we have to store the data, the main concept is to retrieve that data. So when we have to cross-reference or process the information in the files. So this is the major problem of the manual filing system. So these are all the drawbacks of file systems. Data redundancy and inconsistency. Redundancy means like duplication. Same number of data is available in a number of places, and inconsistencies will be there. Data isolation, integrity problems, atomicity problems, concurrent access anomalies, and obviously security problems also arise. So these are all the major drawback of file systems. So what is data redundancy and inconsistency? Data will be available in multiple places in multiple formats, right? So the duplication is wasteful because our memory and time, money, everything will be waste. For example, to enter the data more than once, to take up additional storage space again with associated cost. So the cost will be high. That's only we have to reduce this data redundancy and inconsistency. So the, for example, student data in department Word format and central office, they can also maintain in an Excel format. So update one record, not reflect to another one, because we have updated your data in our department in like a Word format, but we have not informed like we have to update this data in that Excel format. We don't want to communicate to central office. So automatically the data duplications will be arised. Data isolation. So the data is isolated in file processing system and data is stored in different files. So files can be in different formats. So if you want to extract that data from two files, then you are required to know which part of the file is needed and how they are related to each other. So that only we have to identify how to store those data in my file. So the data isolation will be a major problem. Integrity constraint problems, which means integrity constraints are a set of rules. For example, in our bank, we have to maintain a minimum balance of rupees 500. If you are not meeting, they have put some additional charges. So it is used to maintain the quality of information. So enforcing among different files is difficult because of different file formats. So it is very difficult to enforcing these files to follow these type of constraints. Atomicity problem. Atomicity means all should be updated or nothing should be updated in a file. Because if you want to something we have updated, we have to update in all the records. For example, if I want to change your course in my department records, I have to update the same course from your exams in central office, whatever it may be. So that's what called as atomicity. So atomicity is required to save the data values. It means that information is completely entered or cancelled at all. Any system may fail at any time. So at that time, it is desired to that data should be inconsistent date. For example, in account consider account A and account B. So here account balance is rupees 5,000. So account B balance is rupees 10,000. So we have to send rupees 1,000 to account B. So what will be the balance of account B? So that balance should be incremented by 1,000 and decremented for a 1,000 amount, right? So then only the system in the consistent state. Otherwise, the inaccurate data will be stored. For example, the same 1,000 will be lost for account A and the balance will be 4,000. But the account will also having the same 10,000. It will not credited 1,000 rupees. So it will be a state like inconsistent state. So we have to avoid these atomicity problems. Concurrent access anomalies. So we have to suppose if you are going to access the same content at the same time, what will have something I have updated in one file and we may not able to update in another file, but the same file may be accessed by a different user. This is what called as concurrent access anomalies. So atomicity is required, all or nothing. Any system may fail at any time. So the system should be always in a consistent state. For example, same. So same we have transferred the amount, right? So the account must be reduced for account A and the incremented should be updated on the another accounts. Security problems. So poor data security is the most threatening problem in file processing system, which means very less security in file processing system, so that anyone can easily modify and change our data in this file. So all the users must have some restriction of accessing the data up to a level. Because if I'm an admin, I can have all the privileges, right? So if you're a student or if you're another user, I have restricted some constraints for you. why we are going for this databases. So all of the previously mentioned limitations of the file-based approach can be attributed to two factors. What are they? So the definition of the data is embedded in the application programs rather than being stored separately and independently. Next one, there is no control over the access and manipulation of data beyond that imposed by maybe application programs. So what is meant by databases? It is a collection of related data. It's a simple meaning of database. So, which means a shared collection of logically related data and its description, which is designed to meet the information's needs of an organization. For example, student database, MCET college. So, roll number, name, physics, maths, CSE, total. So, all the roll number will be like A1, B1, C1. So the name. So suppose if you are having the file system means we have to enter all the details in a manual manner, but we can easily store in a databases in a securely and consistent manner. So database is single and possibly large repository of data and we can share by different departments and users. Instead of disconnected files with redundant data, all the data will be integrated with the minimum amount of duplications. So which holds not only the organization's operational data but also a description of the data. So finally, a database is also defined as a self-describing collection of all the integrated records. Hence, the description data is known as system catalog, or we can also say like data dictionary or metadata. Metadata is nothing but the data about the data. So example for metadata, roll number assigned to each person based on the alphabetical order of the year, name or admission, etc. So how we are representing these databases? So we can representing the databases through entity, attribute, and relationship, which means AR model. It's very important concepts in database management system. So entity is a distinct object. Simply an object. They can anything, a person or place or thing or object, whatever it may be. So in the organization that is represented in the databases. What is attribute? Attribute is a properties or characteristics which describe some aspect of the object. What is relationship? It's an association between those entities. For example, so here we having student, student name, course, and enrolled. So here student is an entity name, which means an attribute because it's something describes the property or characteristic of a particular student. And course is also an entity. So how we are connecting these two entities? One is student, another one is course by using this relationship. So student will be all the entities will be represented as rectangle and diamond shaped are called as relationship and oval shape are called as attribute. Simply describes the attribute. So we can also say like name, roll number, age. These are all called as attributes of student entity. And what are all the advantages of this DBMS? So we can able to uh, use the transaction in an efficient way, which means transaction routing, which increases the scalability by directing transaction to specific DBMS, managing distributed transactions, load balancing can be incorporated, funneling, and also we can improve the reliability. So these are all the major advantages of DBMS. So I hope you all understand. So that's all about the today's basic class. We'll discuss about the other concepts in next class. Thank you. Thank you all.